The topic of reducing pain, stress, anxiety, and increasing calm and focus is foundational in my Ayurveda practice. So thank you for joining me today as I chat a little bit about Ayurveda. What led me to do what I'm doing is a short story because it found me. I grew up with it, fell in love learning about herbal remedies, treatments, and food as medicine at my grandmother's knee. And my life purpose was known to me from a young age, and that is of teacher and healer, though I prefer the term helper as I teach people how to help heal themselves through Ayurveda. So, what is Ayurveda? It's a vast subject. I'll briefly introduce some key concepts, and you will find the article, What is Ayurveda? A Beginner's Guide and Beyond, on my website at the top of the blog, and it covers the subject in more detail. Ayurveda is a Sanskrit word, Veda meaning knowledge or wisdom, and Ayu meaning life. So the meaning is the knowledge of life itself. Ayurveda is a compass for living. We want our body, mind, and pranic body to be balanced, so our life and our spiritual life become easier and enjoyable. And no matter what we're facing, we need that inner stillness and peace. An overarching concept of Ayurveda is the use of food as medicine, herbs, and lifestyle practices such as meditation, pranayama or breath work, yoga asana, and many more, to restore and maintain balance physically and mentally. There are several key concepts. The first is the doshas, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. So dosha is a Sanskrit word that means to darken, to accelerate aging, that which brings about disease and death. In this regard, we can think of Ayurveda as the original natural anti-aging medicine, as our aim is to restore balance to the doshas, thereby slowing the aging process, restoring health, and removing symptoms. The purpose of Ayurveda is to help move someone who is unwell in the direction of becoming well, of letting go of disease, conditions, symptoms, or what we call dosha imbalances. Or with someone who is well, to teach them to be even more well, more resilient, so they have more resistance to disease and imbalances and have greater vitality and calm. In the spiritual sense, Ayurveda is to recognize that we've come here to connect, whatever that means to each person, however that may look, to a better perspective. And for that to happen, we need balance in the doshas and to establish our physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. And Ayurveda provides us a compass to do so every step of the way. Everything and everyone in the world are comprised of the 5 elements: air, ether, fire, water, and earth. Ayurveda groups the 5 elements into 3 pairs called the doshas. The foundation energies, called Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, are the building blocks of the universe and of ourselves. First, let's talk about Vata. It governs all the movement inside and outside of us, be that the movement of the wind outside the door, or the movement of the thoughts in our minds, or my hands moving as I'm speaking. Vata dosha is characterized by space and air, and it's the lightest of the doshas. Like the elements it embodies, Vata's physical properties are cold, dry, mobile, subtle, and light. Vata's mobile nature is the source of creativity, expansion, openness, variety. However, when Vata falls out of balance, we may feel anxious, scattered, ungrounded, tense, panicky, constipated, and experience more pain physically and mentally. The second dosha is Pitta, which governs transformation and metabolism. Fire and water combine to form Pitta dosha. Pitta governs all transformations within the body and mind. For example, digesting thoughts, digesting my voice as you're listening to me, emotions, sunlight, and of course food. Pitta's characteristics are hot, light, sharp, oily, liquidy, and spreading. The idiom "spreads like wildfire" fits well. When balanced, Pitta energy is ambitious, competitive, discerning, charismatic, strong-willed, courageous, and insightful. Out of balance, it sparks heat in the body and mind, such as inflammation, indigestion, heartburn, and fiery emotional responses like jealousy, criticism, frustration, and anger. Kapha is the third dosha, and it governs protection and lubrication. Kapha dosha is comprised of water and earth, and it's the heaviest of the doshas. Nourishing and reliable, Kapha provides structure, stability, protection, and lubrication. Its qualities are moist, heavy, slow, cool, stable, oily, and smooth. Balanced, Kapha provides support, groundedness, endurance, strength, and dependability. It protects us in the form of our immune system, for example, the synovial fluid in our joints, the stomach lining, or healthy personal boundaries. Out of balance, Kapha manifests as physical, mental dullness or heaviness. We may put on a few extra pounds or feel weighed down, lethargic, foggy, demotivated, depressed. A second key concept is that the doshas dominate stages of life. According to Ayurveda, there are 3 stages of life, and I think they'll feel familiar to you. Each stage of life is influenced predominantly by one of the doshas. The first stage is Kapha, and it occurs from conception to around the preteen years, in other words, childhood. This stage is marked by dramatic and significant growth and development. The second stage is governed by Pitta, and it spans from the teen years, or the start of the menstrual cycle for females, up until menopause, or roughly around retirement years. So it's an expansive period of time, this Pitta stage. This stage is about achieving, doing, productivity, and perhaps reproductivity. The third stage is governed by Vata, which is from menopause, or around retirement, to the completion of our life, our last breath. It's a period of lightening up, perhaps a smaller house. Hair and vision and even bones may lighten up. Often perceived as a time of losses, and phrases such as empty nesters enter in, it's also a stage that is profoundly spiritually rich. The lightness positions us spiritually. We're less weighted down by the outer world and freed up to explore our vast inner world. It's the richest spiritual time of our life as we're relieved of the many burdens such as demanding work, and we can turn inward and focus on our spirituality, something that perhaps we didn't have much time for or inclination towards in the previous stages. The shift from one stage to the next is not immediate. It's a slow transition with one foot in the stage before and the other foot in the stage after, until the transition is completed. The third key concept is about doshas governing the seasons. Moving with knowledge of how to maintain balance of the doshas during seasonal transitions is known as Ritucharya in Sanskrit. Fall is Vata season, late winter to early spring is Kapha, and spring and summer are dominated by Pitta. When we learn how to maintain balance of the doshas from one season to the next, we feel our best and we get sick less often. The fourth key concept is the doshas governing times of day. Kapha governs from 6 to 10 a.m. and p.m., Pitta from 10 to 2 a.m. and p.m., and Vata 2 to 6 a.m. and p.m. When we align ourselves with those energies, we move with more ease, feel less strain, have more focus, more calm. So, for example, if someone has a difficult task to do at work, the ideal time to do it is between 10 to 2, 10 a.m. in the morning, 2 p.m. in the afternoon, when Pitta is highest in the environment, as this is when our minds are the sharpest. We often say, I had a second win last night and I accomplished so many tasks. But what we really experienced was a second fire of Pitta productivity, that doingness. A fifth key concept is about our original dosha constitution and our current state. Everyone on the planet is comprised of all 3 doshas. However, the degree to which each dosha is present varies from person to person. Your unique dosha makeup is like your energetic DNA, so to speak. Our doshic constitution influences everything from our body type to our temperament, even to our elimination. Ayurveda assesses a person's doshic picture in 2 ways. First, Prakriti, our original constitution. This is the dosha composition at the moment of conception. This determines innate tendencies, physical and psychological traits, and is considered one's natural optimal state. The second, Vikruti. It's our current state. It's how the doshas are manifesting presently. In other words, this may be signs and symptoms of imbalance or syndrome, condition, or disease, or discomfort. Our environment and lifestyle choices affect our physical and energetic bodies, our mood, and our psychology, which can lead to imbalances in our doshas. So picture a bar graph. Which dosha or doshas are out of balance will be higher on that bar graph. Using food, herbs, and lifestyle practices, we lower the doshas to restore balance and slow down the aging process and relieve symptoms and move towards our original constitution. When all is well, we're living a balanced life in an optimal environment, and our Prakriti and Vikruti will be the same. But the doshas are dynamic, and life can throw the doshas out of balance easily. When this happens, we feel it. 3 of the most common symptoms are anxiety, pain, and sleep issues. A dosha imbalance will announce itself in a variety of physical and mental symptoms. The sooner we treat it at the root cause, the better. So prevention and treatment are both part of Ayurveda. Without correction, however, an imbalance in the doshas may lead to a health condition, a syndrome, or a disease. The goal in Ayurveda is to establish svasta. That means a state of harmony or equilibrium between mind, body, and spirit. Or we could think of it as health. This is accomplished by achieving and maintaining balance of the doshas. The earliest signs of imbalance occur within the digestive system, as that is the home of the doshas. And often that will reflect the dosha's qualities. So, for example, increased constipation for Vata, heartburn for Pitta, or slow stools for Kapha. Untreated, the imbalance may eventually spill over into general circulation, land in a weak spot either genetically or from injury, and go in deeper. And now we take notice. Now we feel something going on, and now we're looking for help. The doshas will keep talking until we pay attention and attend to them. In other words, we need to address what we notice when we notice it. So how can Ayurveda provide us with a compass for living? We live in a world that provides more information than ever before, and that can be beneficial, but it's also incredibly stressful and confusing. With Ayurveda, it's all about you. Treatment is highly customized to each person. Ayurveda takes the guesswork out of what to do and provides a compass and a clear path. When we have a clear doshic picture and experienced Ayurvedic guidance, then we know exactly what to do. We know what food to eat. We know the best time to wake up and sleep, when to exercise, and so forth. We come to understand and respect our essential true nature and operate in alignment with it. We become empowered with the knowledge of how to live in a way that is correct for us and not a one-size-fits-all wellness solution. Ayurveda seems complicated, and sometimes people take a quiz or read an article, and it becomes more confusing. One day it turns out this way, another day it comes out another way, or maybe there's 2 or 3 doshas are showing symptoms all together at the same time. Now what do we do? Why is this, and what's an easy way to tell if we are out of balance? First, it seems confusing because there's an interplay between the doshas. They don't function in isolation, and the movement of the doshas is affected by climate and season, stage of life, stress, and by living. So, what's an easy way to tell if we're out of balance? Well, the most effective way is to have an Ayurveda consultation. It's my role to conduct an Ayurvedic assessment, figure out what's going on in terms of the doshas, and have a clear picture of that, and then to create a treatment plan that is personalized to each person, as well as ensuring that it fits their life, so it's woven into their lifestyle and not another to-do list at the end of a long day. Having said that, What are some of the clues that the doshas are out of balance? When we don't feel like ourselves, or we say it's just stress or it's just aging, we lack a sense of vitality. We're stressed, anxious, burnt out, exhausted, experience digestive issues, sleep issues, pain. Those are all clear indicators that something's out of balance and needs attention. When we restore balance, our pain and anxiety ease. Our symptoms begin to go away. Ayurveda may seem complicated, but the path becomes clear and simple with correct guidance. We know how to move with the seasons, the time of day, stage of life, and how to reduce those symptoms. So, does implementing Ayurveda add to one's already full schedule? We create a path to health and healing using what I call the healing trifecta. There's an article on that on the blog as well. Using food as medicine, herbs, and Ayurvedic lifestyle practices, which include diaphragmatic breathing, pranayama breath work, free guided practices on the website, and so forth. So look, every day we're eating, drinking, moving, waking, sleeping, perhaps taking supplements, and so forth. With Ayurvedic knowledge, with that guidance, we learn how to turn our eating into medicine, what teas to drink to support digestion and gentle cleansing. And we learn Ayurveda lifestyle tools that balance our doshas for us specifically. So it's not about doing a lot more things, it's about refining what we do with that wisdom of Ayurveda. So it's not necessarily more time consuming to integrate Ayurveda into our daily life. It's about having the knowledge of what will help each person, and that clarity there provides people with a huge sigh of relief. It's not about checking off a long list of self-care items. It's about having the knowledge of what will provide us with the greatest return on our energetic and time investment. Keeping things simple, then it's sustainable. It becomes part of the way we live. The first step is to have a clear picture of one's doshas, and the second step is an Ayurveda plan that regains and maintains that balance. So you've heard me use the term reclaim your calm. Why is that so important? We receive messages from several directions that we are not good enough, or we should be this way or look that way, and social media amplifies this. It results in sort of a rejection of our true nature. The beauty and power of Ayurveda is that it provides a lens through which we can see ourselves clearly. We come to understand and appreciate ourselves in a new light, and there's a great deal of freedom in that. I'll share a story. I was working with a woman in her mid-60s who was concerned about her memory. During the assessment she shared with me, she was always corrected about how she learned, and that created a sense of inferiority for her entire life. She liked to move around, go from one subject to another. And when I shared with her that it's simply Vata's nature to seek variety and to move just as a bee moves from flower to flower in the garden, she was moving from flower to flower. In that moment, she released years of suffering and self-doubt, shed tears, and said, "I've been okay my whole life. I just didn't know it until now." So, when we understand our nature, our true nature, how the doshas manifest in us, we understand the nature of ourself, and we have an appreciation of that self. Self-acceptance, appreciation, arrives at the door of our heart, and when we have that, we're instantly grounded and calmer. To live pain-free and calm, to increase focus and vitality, we need that understanding of our nature. It's fundamental to healing and to living. By understanding our nature, it brings profound relief and healing. Right there. It's an immediate balm to our being. It's necessary to reclaim our calm, as that is the path to stillness in our minds and in our heart. We need to take that energy we expend worrying and comparing, feeling anxious or not good enough, and redirect it inward, learning how to cultivate the calm within us. If you're interested in learning more about Ayurveda, please book online a free phone consultation, and I look forward to chatting with you.